Yeah, I hear that you make a certain poisons. She takes a deep draw of her pipe. Poisons, I only deal in tonics that heal and lighten. She exhales a puff of smoke. Of course, many beneficial substances can be harmful when taken in great quantities, but that's just Weather's way of keeping all things in balance. Really? What kind of substance? She leans against the winding tree trunk and ticks the items off with her fingers. Oh, there's plenty. Concentrated, undistilled, rotten blood, cove coral. Okay, what sounds nice? Spider venom. Yeah. She stops counting and scratches his head. What would you want with something like that? Well, my friend Stelgar is dying and he wants to ease the creature's passing. Yeah. He frowns, her teeth clamped around the pipe. Poor thing. Here, take this. She gives you a phial filled with dark fluid. It works slowly, but this will send him back to the cycle kindly enough. Just see that it doesn't get misplaced. Half that dose would kill an Anuma. Alright.
Quiet.
The two identical women seem to fade into view as they move away from the great trees that camouflage them. Their skin is tree bark, ridged and scaly, wretched in a curling tangle of roots, buds, and blooms. Their hair hangs beneath the shade of serrated leaves like the dropping branches of the elms above, and the pupils of their eyes are encircled by hundreds or even thousands of concentric rings, as if to mark the accumulated wisdom of millennia.
Turn around, flesh creature. Outsiders are not permitted to approach the elms.
Do you not feel it, sister? Something familiar. An ancient soul, like the other one. Another defiler, no doubt.
Whoa.
Let us fell him and be troubled no more. It would pay the debt of his predecessor.
Ooh, so somebody did come here.
So it would seem, Rhiannon. But we must not hasten to judgment. I see a different motive here. Different questions in these eyes.
What of it, young trespasser? Is it as my sister says? Or are you here to stain this place with foul deeds?
I seek a man who came through. It sounds as though you've already met him.
There! By his own admission, Sheetha.
Really, sister? And you wonder why your leaves begin to fall out before midsummer. Clearly that man did not want to be followed. Whatever the relationship here, I suspect it is anything but cordial.
You're right.
The answer is yes, old one. We crossed paths with Theos not long ago, and we can tell you where he went. But I find it curious that anyone would seek him out. Suspicious, even. If we are to help you find him, we would know why.
There's more to me and this person than I don't know.
Ridiculous. Why would you pursue a man like that without knowing why?
Are you so agitated by recent events, sister? How many have come to the Elms over the years with no better an explanation? These two share a link that extends beyond lifetimes. It was bound to bring them here, sooner or later. But that's what this is really about, isn't it? You are tied to him. I see it now. You are awakened. Your soul is awake and something once buried deep now wells to the surface. Past overwhelms present, closes in around you. Your time has nearly reached its end.
Just need to get to Theos.
I am sorry to tell you this, but Theos cannot give you what you seek. Nor can any man. An awakening cannot be undone, any more than your past can be undone.
What's she mean? I thought Merwell said this is permanent. We did not come down this road together to be refused passage by a pair of talking saplings. So this has all been for nothing, and I'm going to lose my mind.
The soul is formless without a past to shape it. Did you truly expect to be able to wipe it away?
Things are right. A noble thought, but for the lifetimes that separate you from your problems.
However, as much as my sister speaks truly that there is no way back from an awakening, there may yet be a way forward. Would you agree, Shiva?
I would. Were the way not so likely to end in death.
What is it?
The man Theos you must already know by now. You are linked by a common past. Something about it lingers within you,
Oh, my
festered,
dad, is it?
unresolved. What it is I cannot see any more than you.
Oh, he's my son.
And without that knowledge, your doom is certain. But were you to learn the source of this discord, perhaps it could be put to rest. Though it is equally possible it will trouble you as much now as it did then, and merely speed your condition to its end.
My past comes to me in pieces. How do I unlock the rest?
You might wait for it to come on its own, of course, but when it comes, it will replace your sanity's last breath. Such is the nature of your condition.
Or you could learn it from someone who already knows.
Yes, would he remember?
It is said the gods made his memory perfect, that he may never forget his charge. If he ever knew, he still does.
Not that he would tell you, of course.
You have followed the right person for the wrong reason, it seems. We see it often beneath the elms, the soul dragging mind and body to unknown places for unfathomable reasons. You may have wandered into Theos's path many times, in many lifetimes, without an awakening to show you why.
The only thing that's certain is you did not find what you sought.
Did you know where he went?
He has gone down beneath the tower to a place older than we, where the people of Engwith once walked. He makes his way to the buried city, Sun and Shadow.
Sun and Shadow.
May he stay down there and rot with the remains of his people.
He may yet. He won't be returning the way he came, that much is certain. He opened a secret path in the tower's base, and saw it destroyed behind him through some
Of
vile
course.
means.
Is there another way to get to him?
We know of one. On the burial isle, through the court of the penitents, Braeth Yaman. A shortcut, in fact.
Don't be cruel, sister. The way my sister speaks of is not for the faint of heart. A great pit at the center of a forgotten court, where faiths were judged in place of crimes. To most, it is simply a gateway to death. With the help of the gods, it can take you where you want to go.
What do you mean, with the help of the gods?
The pit is said to have been a means of judgment by the gods. Those cast into it are meant to die. It is that way you must pass to reach Sun and Shadow. The court is old. We do not know much for certain, but it would seem only the gods themselves can grant passage.
So what is this court?
No more than a ruin now. It is older than we, a place for the trial of heretics. We were not here to witness it, but at one time there was a group that refused to acknowledge the gods. Neither the first nor the last, of course, but these were numerous and all put on trial for it. Those who did not repent were cast into the pit and imprisoned below.
Oh, that's great.
The fall killed them, of course. The prison was not for people, but for their souls, and their sentences were eternal. It is said that many of the condemned repented and were permitted by the gods to ascend from the pit, so long as they pledged their service to one of them. But these are old legends.
How would I ever get the gods to help?
Behind us is Ter Evron, said to pierce the shroud itself and a place of communion with all gods. If ever there was a time for prayer, you have found it.
Alright, so it seems like I have to pray to God. So the only way to get through the pit is to pray for help.
Not the only way. Just the only one that doesn't end with your body impaled on jagged rocks.
Does have a point. Who would I pray to? Any god you can, I should think.
I would pray first to those gods you like best. I hope for your sake the feeling is shared.
Is there another way?
None.
Nope. How do I pray?
Ter Evron is also called the Hall of Stars, and the stars show us the allegiances of the gods. When stars are in conjunction, we know the gods they represent are aligned as well. You should choose a place to pray where you'll be closest to those you want to hear you. If a god stands alone, you should pray to that god. If they band together, you should address them all. Choose your words wisely, for all gods expect proper homage, and none has patience for fools. What do you wish to know?
How do you know I was pursuing Theos?
The same way that you are no doubt able to peer into the ether and experience the souls of others. It is something we are born with, some more, some less. A gift common to many creatures of the wilds. You share certain similarities with the man you pursue. For your sake, I pray they are few and of no consequence.
You mentioned that people come to these elms without knowing why. A soul has a will all its own. It needs some whims and seldom understood, but they follow them all the same.
There is something about this place that reaches beyond our understanding, something like a beacon. The elms have a way of uniting souls that have been seeking one another, with or without their owner's awareness. Sometimes it is for love, sometimes for vengeance, sometimes for peace. Often it is for no reason we will ever know. In your case, let us hope it is for peace.
Or vengeance.
Vengeance. I want to know about the two of you.
There is little to be said about us, for we are bound here, caretakers and defenders of this place. Our journey has been over time, but not distance, measured in observations, but not experiences. We have seen the elms grow tall. We have seen cities built, burned, and built again. The only constant has been the tower, a silent companion through the ages. You can imagine why this recent destruction has stirred my sister so.
If you do nothing else, make that man pay for what he did here.
No?
We will tell you what we can. Before you go, tell me this, old one. I'm curious. If you were to subdue your enemy, what would you do with him? What would give you peace?
It's power. I wish to undo the harm he's caused.
You would need to have twice as many lifetimes as he to repair his savage work.
Do it. Or perhaps there are strides you can make.
All the same, think on this matter. Be assured in your course. In the end, it may mean all the difference, not just to his soul, but to yours. And be warned. Some questions have answers that can never be learned, and it is those that trouble the soul above all others. May you find an answer to yours.
Cool. Quite cool, that. Alright. Noah, welcome your presence, supplicants. A dwarven man stands motionless near the roaring fire that lights the cavern. Sacrifice feeds the land. Supplicants, come forth. A gust of smoke curls around him, licking the charred flesh that bulges on his forearms. He suddenly flexes. Estramore? The dwarf holds his fist in a tight grip. Your kin doesn't come here to share with the tribes. What do you want? This place. Bloodsands. The dwarf picks out his scarred forearm. His guttural sigh mingles with the crackling of wood and bones behind it. As I said, Estramore rarely visit our halls. The Garfans call this place Bloodsands. We call it home. The Ethnic Gnaw have tended the land from within this cave since before the arrival of the tribes to Twin Elms. Cross his arms. Be warned, Estramore. We bleed life to nurture it. Our sacrifices may strike you as savage, but the health of these lands depend on them, and it's unseemly for guests to insult their hosts. Well, I think you're wrong, but oh well. Oh well. So he spreads his stocky legs apart and locks his forearms. Everything must die to return anew, Estramore. Through the sacrificial rites we offer supplicants the honour of giving their most precious gifts back to their brethren, back to the land. Dwarf list his fist thick and moated with red scars. The blood gives their strength. Even the Galfathans have come to depend on the blood paint. They brim with power before battle, and thanks to sacrifices of their kin. Tell me about Icknoall. Our order has thrived for generations. Before we came to Twin Elms, our rights fed the lands of the eastern mountains. Now we share blood for Earth Elgrafan. Garab opens his palms, strikes the redskin through them like flames. To everything that must end, our sacrifices bring a new beginning. We sustain that. What's to come? Remember, Estamar, you're guest in these halls. Respect our ways, and we'll tolerate your presence among us. Don't know, you seem a bit... But, oh well. I guess that's just me. So, read that... Oh, that amazing.
I'll stay out of sight.
Talon. There is no greater honour. I don't know about that. I'm thinking about... Oh, here, well. Essence taken by force.
Upon Burial Isle, the two men meet again for the first time, though it was the last thing they did. The many-colored beast rent them both asunder. They were in death, merged, and made whole again. Cute story. Two guys meet in the belly of a soul-eating creature. Maybe someday I'll eat two of the most insipid dear wooden lumberjacks, and they'll spend an eternity discussing beer whilst haunting my colon.
Take the first one. I like the second one, but I'll take the first one. Perhaps the idea is that the Autumn Stelgar might not really destroy the souls. That could be true, but I guess I don't know what to make of this. I've never knowingly at least eaten anyone's soul. Maybe it's a trick I've yet to learn. Lucky me. Still, I have a hard time believing that me spirit shifting and mauling anyone is going to make anybody whole again, despite what this tablet says. I'd like to look at the other tablets and see what they have to say.
As souls split into multitudes, many lives come from one. The truest of power comes from sacrificing the shard to return its strength to the Mother Stone. The many lives from one sounds familiar. I was taught that sometimes between death and rebirth, a soul splits perfectly in two, creating two viable souls from one. Sounds strange, but it makes sense when you think about how the population has risen in generations. It's kind of a mathematical necessity that some process like this is happening.
Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe the Autumn Stelgar has a very important role to play in this life cycle of souls. Sorry, sir. I'm not eating your soul. I'm merely serving a vital role in the natural process. I see what you're getting at, but it's not making me feel better. Fungus that grows in shit has an important role in the natural order. That wouldn't make me thrilled to spirit shift into a shit blossom. Just can't shake the fear that the shard of my destiny is to be fed to something greater. He stares at you wide-eyed and silent for several moments. Guess worrying won't do me any good. Let's read the other tablets.
Each generation, the Onumfoth must stand before the autumnal beast in judgment.
Why is he shouting?
The wise endure, passing on their strength. The weak are eaten, their souls ripped to pieces and lost for all time, removing such weakness from the cycle. Well, I guess maybe my tribe wasn't entirely wrong about my spirit form being some sort of soul terror. I suppose I was hoping to hear a different answer on the matter, but
it's worth asking. In all your time walking in Autumn Stelgar's fur, how many souls have you destroyed? That I'm aware of. None. He says resolutely as his face turns red. I get what you're saying. I merely wear the form of the Autumn Stelgar. It's not in control of me, nor the sum of who I am. He lets out a long sigh. For years I've been telling myself my tribe judged me unfairly. Guess they weren't completely wrong. Well, enough Quantification for the moment. He says, putting down a cowlick of hair. I need to know more. Let's look at those other tablets.
Is not the water sacrificed unto the plant, and the plant sacrificed unto livestock, and livestock unto man? When the lesser soul is sacrificed to strengthen the greater soul, the whole of our family grows stronger.
Oh!
I suppose I get the argument. We all have to kill and eat, constantly for that matter, to live. This sounds like it's talking about the Blood Sands rituals. I wonder how, or even if, this is relevant to me.
Have you ever considered that the Autumn Stelgar may have been sacrificed to you? That Galawan was making you stronger? Good ear stiffens while his mangled ale twitches and shakes. It hadn't occurred to me, but I did win the fight. If Galawan were truly displeased with me, I can't imagine I'd ever walked away from the trial alive. He bites his lips and falls silent for a moment. So the other tablets spoke of the Stelgar judging, reuniting, and the other one spoke of recombining souls that split over the ages. I guess I'm supposed to use my power to sacrifice others or be sacrificed. Not sure I like the sound of either. It's safe to say that Will brought you to where you were needed to be. You could most certainly say that, says with a smile. So my tribe was right. The Autumn Stelgar is some sort of soul-destroying beast, but I merely borrow the creature's form, not its reason for being. I doubt I'll change their minds about anything, but it's not like I want to develop a new group of Druidic peers among those artisans of sacrifice. So what now? Adding it up, I want to head to the Burial Isle. The name was mentioned in the tablets and is implied there may be other Autumn Stelgar there. I do not want to hear verification from the Autumn Stelgar was such a terrifying monster, but I am thankful to Will for bringing me to these tablets. The truth is valuable, especially when it is painful. So what now? If and when we make it to Burial Isle, I like to explore the area. The tablets suggest that many have gone there to be murdered. Sorry, judged by the beast. He clears his throat and gives you a nervous smile. Not exactly dying to see it again, but Whale and Galloway both seems insistent on leading towards that event. So when you are ready, let's head to this Burial Isle. So we will get there eventually, so that's good. Okay. You hear it? An orblin baby lies in the crib, tiny and dark fur. Though her eyes are closed with sleep, she squirms under the blanket and nuzzles the pillow. Take, fella. What? Well, he wasn't even going to kill the baby anyway. He was going to burn it at Blood Sands. Fucking swear, man. Fucking swear. Leader's weapon is drawn and her eyes burn with anger. He looks more like his father than ever. I knew my father was a soulless beast, but you... He snarls, showing you a row of white crooked teeth. My father's right about one thing. I can't trust an Eskimo's words. I was just going to take her to someplace safe. Going to take her to someplace safe. What a chance, Eskimo. Oh, that's great.
Huh?
You thought I was stealing...
Yeah.
You thought I was really going to kill the baby. I'll go with that theory. Well, I'll have to speak to Aloth.
If those Delamgon are right, you and I are stuck with our awakenings. Not quite the news I was hoping for.
I have an awakening. Yeah. It distresses me too.
You mean the knowledge that your mind is an unraveling thread and the man holding the other end is a millennia-old priest? Your concern is understandable.
What a fucking smart ass you are, eh?
And while I hate to turn the subject back to myself, this all has me thinking about Isilmir. I'm stuck with her now.
I'll just go with rational. Like stoic, but I'll go with rational.
I suppose not, but hope is an unchaste mistress.
And on the bright side, I've got plenty of time to figure out how to deal with her. What do you think?
I've been thinking about it a lot lately. About her recklessness, her unpredictability, about how my own irresolution is to blame. I need to start taking control, and that begins here.
Even as he says it, something struggles within him. The muscles in his face twitch, and skin quivers. His eyes roll back in his skull, exposing slivers of white. Sweat beads and glistens of his forehead. After several seconds, he sighs and looks back to you. That wasn't as difficult as I expected. I think, deep down, I've always hoped to find a solution elsewhere. When I was a child, I always thought my mother would come home with a mysterious cure, or that my father, without knowing it, could somehow send her away just as he called for her. I can't pretend that I didn't spend years of my arcane training hoping that one of my instructors would have the answers somewhere in his grimoire. When I joined Leiden Key, I hoped and believed that, with enough loyal service, I'd gain the ear of someone in the organisation who could help me. Even when I met you and realised your unique talents, I hoped that you might be able to reach into my soul the way I see you do with so many others. Been looking for someone else to solve my problem, and now I realise that I've got to face it on my own. I've been with you the whole way, still am.
That means a great deal to me. Truly. That reminds me of something else the Delamgon said. About the gods not being real.
I don't know what that meant. So figure out what that means eventually.
Yes, I suppose so. Still, I can't help but worry at the state we'd be in if that were somehow true. If there were no power guiding us in this life and shepherding us to the next.
Find our way on our own. Just hope that's not the case. I'm sure we'll find our way on our own.
I hope you're right.
Why we stop? Let's discuss something else. You finally got in control of Istamir. Do you feel any different? Just calmer, content. It's odd. For so long I fought her, lashing out at her instructions and incursions without actually stopping her. I wasn't used to taking decisive action. I didn't believe I had the power over someone who had infiltrated my own mind. He smiled slowly. There was a pleasant surprise to see that I was wrong. I'm not going to be honest. Here is the poison you asked. Here is the potion you asked for. Potion? Oh, I was going to say poison. What? Something's wrong. His eyes narrow. What are you trying to give me? So I do have very good resolve. I haven't got 21, so this is the essence potion you asked for. Send for Weirdo if you doubt it. He reaches out with a hand, narrowed by age and battle. He clutches the vial close to one faded blue eye. To my tribe's salvation. He drains the vial in one long gulp. He swallows, and after sputtering for several seconds, he glares at you. His breath sounds ragged and wet. You poisoned me. He begins to raise his hand to the warriors in the other room. You just swallowed a mixture of concentrated essence and blood. How did you expect that to feel? I suppose you're right. He takes a couple of slow, deep breaths. And I suppose I should thank you for your service. Safe travels, Estamar.